Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another Planet Coaster video. So today I have a pretty fun video for you all, and it's a concept that I've been wanting to do for quite a while, and I think this is a great opportunity to sort of do it. But yeah, if you've been following me for a long time, I don't know who has been, but back in the day in 2007, 2008, how I got myself started on this YouTube channel was I basically uploaded Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 videos exclusively. I uploaded individual rides, showcased them on my channel, and one of those rides is what you're seeing now, which is X-Wing. Obviously this is Planet Coaster, but I figured, you know, now that we're in the age of better graphics with Planet Coaster and we have a lot more options with realism, I figured it would be cool if I recreated that original ride into Planet Coaster with more detail, more fun, and a lot more practicality. So I think where we should start is the original video. Okay, I'm a little bit nervous to be watching this video. Oh gosh. Oh man, yep. This is the Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 graphics. It's funny because I actually made this video with Windows Movie Maker, and it tells because the quality is just so bad. But you know, I have to give myself the benefit of the doubt. I think the layout that I have for this ride is pretty good, and the Steelworks custom scenery supports I think are a great addition as well. So you know what, I think it has some character. I think the base is there and it's okay. All right, let's get into this POV. Let's check this out. So I have the launch lift hill. We have this sort of half loop where we hang upside down. I think that's pretty cool. We have supports sticking into the track. That's just, you know, great. Our cars running straight over them. I'm pretty sure we'd have hit that pole back there. We have another part where upside down, you know, now we're just doing some turns, I guess. So, you know, it's not a bad ride. I think it has, the layout is great, and I think we have actually a lot of work. We have a lot to work with here, and I think we can definitely make this more realistic. All right, so starting out with the builds, I think the first thing that I wanted to sort of address is things that we could improve upon. Like I said, I think the layout is good. I think the layout has good elements to it, and it's simple and it makes sense and it's realistic in terms of what I was basing it off of, which was, I think there's this manufacturer called Mauer, and they make these cars called X-Car. And when I originally built that roller coaster, I was actually basing it off of a model ride that was built in, I think it's in the UK. It's this park called Drayton Manor, and they built this ride called G-Force, and they have this very interesting concept where the loop is actually like a half lift hill, but it has the same roller coaster type that I'm building with right here. So I figured, you know, I think I wanted to sort of incorporate that sort of half loop elements and incorporate, you know, elements of hanging upside down, which these Mauer X-Car rides really have. A lot of them really, you know, use that as their main focal point. So I wanted to have that sort of concept in place as well. So I think, yeah, like the layout is great. So one thing I wanted to address though is the smoothness. And obviously Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 doesn't offer a lot of you can't really build smooth rides because you're building on a grid. So Planet Coaster has this method that the community has coined, the 4-meter method, which is essentially you build your ride out of 4-meter pieces, and then you go back and forth and you smooth it 8 times. So you can see right here, I basically select 4 pieces, you hit smooth once, you go forward, and then you go back, and then you do that 8 times. So, you know, this ride is, I think it deserves the 4-meter method because it's a very small layout, and, you know, I wanted it to be extra smooth. So yeah, so, you know, it takes a lot of time, but I think it's worth it. Now, another thing that was kind of another caveat to the X-Car ride that's available on Planet Coaster, for some reason it just doesn't have catwalks. Like, I can't click the catwalk button and catwalks appear on my track. It just doesn't exist. So I was like, well, I want to make this realistic, so I decided to grab some, I think it's like the Wild Mouse roller coaster, and that ride has catwalks, and I think it's a pretty standard sort of catwalk and has a good distance away from the track, so I just threw that on, hid the track, colored it black, and you know, we have catwalks, so I think it turned out pretty well. But yeah, I guess one thing I really wanted to address, so we've addressed sort of the smoothness issue, and another thing I wanted to sort of change and improve upon is the realism. And now that we have Planet Coaster, we can build really nice custom supports. We have, you know, we're not constricted to this like this grid. So one of the things I wanted to do is like make this ride as realistic as I possibly can. Make it a practical ride. Make it a ride that a theme park, you know, has the means to maintain. And as part of that realism, I wanted to incorporate what the Maurer manufacturer has on their tracks a lot, which is this like thickened spine. So that's what I'm building on the screen right now, is a thickened spine that I guess it's supposed to bridge the support on very high points where there's not a lot of when there's not a lot of support being going down laterally. Vertically. So it kind of has to bridge the gap. So yeah, just kind of incorporating those elements here. And it seems like Maurer does this on their X car rides on elements that go upside down or don't have a lot of support under them, like I said, vertical loads. So I also decided to throw on the loop as well. It's hard to do this with curves because I'm building this out of art pieces, but yeah, I think it's pretty, I think it turned out pretty well. Again, addressing realism, like I was kind of hinting at before, I want this ride to be realistic in terms of you can sort of, this is a ride that the park has the means to maintain and you know, construct. And I think with that we have to address how is the park maintenance going to, or how is the park going to maintain this ride. One is with catwalks, and two, how did the ride get built? What, you know, we have to think about a lot of different things. Like right now what I'm building is a sort of power station for the launching cars, or for the launching mechanism. I think a lot of the equipment would stay here. And I was actually looking at some pictures of some Maurer rides that are launching, and the manufacturer, I guess they have their like power station kind of off to the side. So I was like, okay, might as well build a power station here. So that's what I just built. And now it's like, okay, well, I want to sort of signify that the park maintenance staff can address the launching issue by, if there's a problem or something, they have this sort of transformer box they can go and access easily on the catwalk. So that's what these like white boxes I just put down, these like, they're from the Theme Maker's Toolkit. I don't really know who made this. I'll link them below, but bless them, these items are really cool. But yeah, I just, you know, these are essentially, if these connect, they're like transformers that connect to the launching mechanism, and I wanted a way for park staff or maintenance to come in and be able to maintain the ride and fix any problems through that transformer. So yeah, I think, you know, just like I said, I want this to be as realistic as possible. And it's funny, after I built the catwalk, I was like, okay, well, how are people going to get up to that catwalk? So I was like, I need to build another platform, and that's what I'm doing here. And you know, I'm not going to be one of those people that tries to make this so realistic, like every little beam, every little part is accounted for. I kind of want to have fun with it, you know, so I'm incorporating bits of realism that I think would fit in pretty well. I don't know if it would actually practically get built. I think it's more of just for fun and for like, you know, I'm thinking more of a practical way of how the park would, or how they would build it, how would they be able to maintain it, access it, all that great stuff. So I think throughout this series you're going to be seeing a lot of that. I guess another thing I want to address is like, what is this series going to be? So I have actually a lot of rides that I made back in the day. I made so many of them. I was looking at my old archived videos, and I think this would be fun to sort of make it a series and go back to our old videos, do kind of revisit the old video and see if we can build the ride and improve upon it. So yeah, expect to see this with more rides. I think it'll be cool. And with this one, I want to do, I think with this series I'm going to make it into 2 parts. So this is part 1 obviously, and then part 2 we're going to have, we're just going to finish out the supports and the building, the station building, and then all the pathing and stuff. So this one is going to focus more so on this half loop, and then also the main loop, and just kind of detailing this portion of the ride, and then the next part we'll finish it, and then I'll do sort of a main video, and I'll move on to the next ride. So by the way, that video that I uploaded, or I'm sorry, the video that I showed earlier, or the original video, I have listed it in the link below if you want to check it out. I made some cuts when I actually built when I actually was making the video, but just it's a little bit cringy, but I think it's great. Yeah, so kind of getting back to the build. Sorry if I'm rambling, but now I'm just sort of building the support structure for the ride. And again, this is where the realism comes in again. I wanted to make it realistic in terms of what the manufacturer would do, and Maurer has this sort of building style. In fact, on the ride I based this off of, which is the Drayton Manor G-Force, I built these, they built this like sort of half structure that supports the half loop right here, and I wanted to make it look similar to what it was, so it would be realistic in that Maurer would actually have built this ride back in the day. So did spend a lot of time on these supports. Supports are pretty tricky, because you have to, in Planet Coaster specifically, because you have to like make sure they align perfectly and they match up to where you're going, and it can take a lot of time to do, but once you do build these custom supports, I think they look amazing, and I think it's well worth the effort. The supports actually in the vanilla Planet Coaster are pretty decent as well, but I think making custom supports is well worth it in the end. So I actually want to talk about what I'm building right here, which is sort of it's like a truss structure that is supporting the center of the half loop. And typically, actually, if you look on, I was trying to find areas on G-Force that had this sort of truss structure. I wasn't able to find it, but I figured, one, it's needed because there's such a long span that I feel like there needs to be some sort of support for the roller coaster. But also, if you look at my original video, I had these sort of like truss supporting structures that are more rectangular, and they're on either ends of this half loop, and I kind of threw that out on the far end where it kind of curves up in the loop. And I wanted to pay homage to what I built, because obviously I'm gathering my inspiration from this old video. So I decided to, I think the goal is to also not stray away too much from what I was building in the past. I want to sort of incorporate things that were there in the past, and things I'm working on in the future as well. So, or things I'm working on in the future now as well. So yeah, expect to see more of me referencing back to my old video, and saying like, I wanted to put support here because my old video I had that, and I liked what I put in my older video. So yeah. Now this is actually what I'm building right now is pretty cool, and I think it ties in the realism aspect a lot more, and that is I'm building sort of a ladder structure up to they're basically upside down brakes. I wanted, when the roller coaster goes through this half loop, it actually kind of slows down, because I wanted the riders to sort of hang upside down. So what I just built right there was like, okay, and so how is someone going to maintain those brakes on the top? I was like, okay, I'll build a ladder that goes up the side, and someone can use the ladder to sort of access those transformers I built that were kind of in blue, and yeah, just kind of maintain the ride, again keeping up with the realism. So it's kind of a tedious process to think about all these things, but I never have thought about these things. I've never thought about how is someone gonna maintain the ride, how is someone gonna keep up with everything and make sure the ride is still functioning. And I think when you do that, it adds a lot more details that are on real roller coasters, and in turn it makes it more realistic. So I guess to sort of finish out the time lapse for today, and kind of get on with the video, is I'm just building sort of a half structure for the loop here. Pretty self-explanatory. It's actually easy because you know, the loop is symmetrical, so all I had to do was build one side of the supports and then do a copy paste. It wasn't really that difficult at all. But yeah, finishing up the time lapse for today. Just adding some more spine details here. You know, this is where two pieces would probably meet, and I wanted to show some sort of welding because that is shown on the real rides, and you know, kind of got hidden behind all these art pieces. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry if I sounded like I was in a rush, but I'm really excited for this series, and expect to see part 2 coming where I complete the ride, and then I'm gonna upload a final video, and it's gonna look really cool. But yeah, thank you for watching, everyone. Please subscribe to see more of this and more Planet Coaster videos to come. Still working on Lunar World. But yeah, hope you enjoy the B-roll.